Hi everybody, it's me, Plantine Charlene, and today I wanted to discuss my plants that grow on strings or chains. No, this is not any special kind of plant. This is not the type of chains or strings that you would buy from a store, but these are actually common plants that you can find in your local nursery or possibly even box stores, such as string of turtles or chain of hearts and other plants like that. So, stay tuned and I'll be getting to that video shortly. As usual, before I show you what I'm going to discuss, I want to give my shout outs to everyone and anyone who watches my videos. I really appreciate you. I hope you will consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment because I do appreciate talking to you guys. And you can share this video with anyone you think would enjoy it. And you can click the bell to know when I've posted a new video. So again, thank you everybody. I appreciate you all. Okay, so the first plant I'm going to show you is this one. String of pearls, variegated, and it's in a cute little vegeta pot. I purchased both the plant and the pot from Shauna. Yes, I've been pronouncing her name wrong. I've been calling her Shayna, and her name is Shauna, and she is the owner of Soil Vibes. So when I purchased it, it was much fuller, a whole lot fuller. And you see a bunch of dead pearls here. And unfortunately, I killed the first one I purchased. I understand a little better now. These actually do like to be watered a little more, at least in my experience, even though it is a succulent and they do hold water in its beads or pearls. But for me, I noticed that if I keep this soil more moist than not, they do a lot better. And there were a lot more pearls or beads that were dead when it was not doing well. So this little cluster right here is new, and I'll do an overview so you guys can see that a little bit better. But this was pretty much the size of most of the pearls when I purchased it. So I'm happy that I am doing better with this plant. There's a lot of variegation in the pearls, and I'm very happy with it. So these are pretty fast growers. Pretty much every plant I'm going to show you that grows as a string or a chain is a fast grower. They pretty much, depending on if they're variegated or not, the lighting may be a little different. I have this sitting under a grow light in my little IKEA greenhouse. So it's about 6 to 7 inches away from the light. And as I noted, the variegation is there pretty much in every single pearl. There's variegation. So I'm very happy with the life of this plant. The other plant I'm going to show you is the brother or the sister or the cousin, some kind of relative of some sort, parent, father, I don't know, to the next plant, which is this one. The string of pearls that is the regular green, non-variegated. Now, what I have noticed about this one, well, first of all, you see how it's nice and full in there? It's not like got a lot of barren spaces in there. I did what is not like uncommonly known. It's very commonly known. You just kind of take a string and you can lay it on the soil, and eventually it will root in the soil, and then it'll grow out a new string. And an example would be like here. See that standing up? There's more in here, but they're not at a hanging stage. So I don't want to pull on it and then kind of mess up the rooting that it's doing in the soil. But there's also what I've noticed, some clusters growing. And I'm going to do an overview of this as well so you guys can see what I'm talking about with the clusters, because you have these strings that can grow, and this is fine. But at times you can find like bare spaces on the string. So like for instance, this string doesn't look so great, right? And then this string is a little, well, I'll put it against the white pot. This string looks better than this string. So when I see clusters, it tells me that it's happy with the light it's receiving, and that's why it's growing more of the little pearls faster versus just in a string like this. So this plant is doing very well. I'm happy to report that because I did kill the first one that I ever purchased, and these plants are pretty easy to care for. So there we go. I keep bumping into this, so every now and again you're gonna see it swinging. It's annoying. Anywho, the next plant I want to show you is this one, my string of turtles. It is a beautiful plant. Now you can see that there are a lot of what I believe these are called either spaffs, blooms, flowers, whatever it's called. This is what this plant does when it flowers, and you see a lot of the light green there. Those are newer leaves that are pushing through. You can't see what will be the purpose of why they call it a string of turtles, which is these you can see that pattern on there. I'll do an overview so you guys can see that a little bit better. But this plant is very fragile as far as if you move it around. You can lose the little leaves very easily, and honestly that can be annoying because you know your plant is just falling apart in front of you. But know that you can easily propagate it by taking one of the leaves, as long as it has a little stem to it, and placing it right on top of the soil, and it'll root, and then you'll have a new plant, a new string, and you'll be good to go. So you see how full this plant is. It is very full. It receives a significant amount of light. It's about 4 inches away from a grow light that I have inside my IKEA greenhouse. Hence on why I think all of these are standing straight up, because it's reaching toward that light. But it's getting long. Now I know this isn't as long as it could be. These things can grow very, very long. As long as you allow it to grow, it will continue to grow. I don't know of a stopping point, like, oh, it can grow up to 24 inches or something like that. As far as I know, they will keep going as long as they get the adequate amount of light that it needs to do so. So when I first got it, it might have been here. So it's doing pretty well, but notice that the leaves are smaller in this section. And that is because it's getting less light versus the ones at the top. Now they're not super large, but they are larger than the ones that are sitting on top of the soil. I'm sorry, the ones on the soil that are on top of the soil are larger than the ones that's hanging from the strings. So that's fine with me. I'm not complaining. I think it's beautiful. I'm hoping at one point I can get it where it's completely around the pot. So you see back here it's bare, and that's fine. There's one little string that's trying to start that little dream of mine to happen. But over here you can see it's much fuller. So again, the light comes from the top, so it's not like I need to turn it to get it to grow more on another side. And there you have it, guys, my string of turtles. Okay, the next one I want to show you is this one, my string of hearts variegated. This plant has also been called the chain of hearts. So if you search it either way, you'll find it. Now this one, when I first purchased it, I did do a video on this a few months back, or last year or something, and I'll share that link up above. But this one has grown tremendously since I've done that video. Now it's not as full as I've shown you with the string of pearls and the string of turtles, but it has gotten fuller. I'm getting more and more of these new strings coming out to start vining over. I think when I first got it, it was either 2 or 3 at max, and now this is more than that. I'm This is this plant, the most challenging thing about this plant for me is when it gets tangled. That can be highly, highly annoying because when you try to separate or untangle it, it can cause the leaves to drop, and it's not an easy task. So I don't, I wish there was a machine or some kind of contraption someone could make that untangles string of hearts. That person would be a billionaire because this is, you see right here. Oh, that was easy for the camera, I guess. Yeah, that was easy. Let me have been off camera. I'd have been sitting here pulling my hairs from the front of my head out of my head. Um, I have got this one to bloom. Now, the blooms on here are not very uh, attractive, but I still like them. I haven't removed any of them. And oh, my arm is hurting. As this plant is getting longer and longer, it has lost some of its variegation down at the bottom because it's not receiving any light. And you see there, okay, that wasn't a smart decision, but you can see it's a little yellow green versus the pinkish purple color. And I'm tempted to cut it and propagate it, which is very easy for this plant. You want to cut it above a node, which is that little thing right there. You want to cut it above it, put it in water through that node, roots will come, and then eventually once it reaches about, I'm gonna say an inch and a half in length, maybe no more than 2. You don't have to go that long like a pothos. You can repot it in soil, and you'll have more vines and your plant will be fuller. Another option, again, you can take this vine with string and wrap it around the top of the soil. Again, it will root. These plants are very similar in how they grow. The speed of growth, their light requirements, their soil needs, their watering needs, they're pretty much exactly the same, except for my string of pearls variegated. I find that I need to actually, as I noted, water that soil a little bit more. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. And I am hoping, I think I am going to cut this because it is pretty long. I'm going to show you as much as I can on here. And there's more with this. Oh, there's more. And this one is still touching, this one right here is still touching the floor. So there you go. I watered these these are under grow lights. This one and the next one I'm going to show you, which is my regular string of hearts. They sit under grow lights, and they are about a foot away from that light. And then they're also sitting in front of a window, which is my northeast facing window in my living room. And you know, they've been doing fine. But as I said, losing leaves from this is easy when you try to untangle. So I end up with a bunch of little heart-shaped leaves on my floor, and the flowers as well. So, and last but not least is this plant. Is this one looking very sad on the soil side, but when you see it from the strings, which there are many, and it goes all the way down. Here's another side of it. It's not doing bad, but oh, there goes a leaf. I have lost several of the leaves. You can see a lot of empty space here because I have not done well with my due diligence of getting up here and getting this plant down so that I can water it, because it gets tangled so easily. And it's become somewhat of a nuisance for me because I don't want to get up there and tend to this plant as much as I should, because I actually have to take it down, from this area, which I'll show you, and bring it to the kitchen, water it, and then bring it back. But every time I do that, the tangling goes back into effect. It's so badly tangled, and I'm going to show you guys that in a hot second. So as I said, there is such a detangling issue whenever I take this plant down. Just getting this over here to be on the other side of the pot took me too long. And as I noted, they hang from in front of this window, and there's the grow light. It's about a foot away from each of them, but it is a little closer to the regular string of hearts. Usually I just swept today. There are a gang of these leaves all over the place on the floor and the flowers. I'm so over sweeping and dealing with trying to untangle this plant. I'm tempted to just kind of wrap it around on top of the soil and hope for the best. I do want to cut it because it's gotten so long that it is, as you can see, touching the floor. No, it's more than touching, it's sweeping the floor. And this one here is pretty much doing the same thing. No, it's almost there, but detangling this is troublesome, and I don't want to be bothered. So I have to figure out what I want to do. Do I want to cut it so I can make my life of detangling easier, or do I leave it? But I think the decision really is to cut it because there's so many bare spots. This string pretty much doesn't have anything on it for at least almost 18 inches of this string. So I'm going to do what I need to do and take care of this plant properly. I have made the executive decision to go ahead and snip this string of hearts and propagate it while I still have time. The summer is still here. Yes, it is still summer, people. Summer does not end after Labor Day. Little quick rant. Anywho, since summer's still here, I am going to propagate it. It'll take some weeks for the roots to start showing, and I can repot it back inside of that original, the mother plant. I'm not going to start a whole nother plant because I do want it fuller. I do have crazy plant guide goals when it comes to my string of hearts. I have the length, I just don't have the fullness, and I would pay him to untangle my plant because he untangles his, he said, every time he waters it, but for him too, it can be frustrating. I am going to say farewell right now for this video and say thank you again to everyone and anyone who has watched. If you made it this far, thank you, thank you, thank you. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and click the bell to know when I've posted a new video. Again, I will be posting every Wednesday with an occasional pop-up short video some other day during the week or weekend. So guys, have a great one. Stay healthy, stay blessed, stay safe, and God bless you all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.